Yeah, they don't know. Live television. Yes, okay, we are live. Hare Krishna. Welcome to all the devotees. Welcome to all the wonderful guests we have. And I think as the time progresses, the more devotees will come, particularly devotees from Czech Republic. They are, it's one of them, but two. Oh, and there's more are coming. So we had yesterday a very nice meeting, Sankirtan. We spoke about Sankirtan. Anaka Nudubi Prabhu and many other devotees spoke. Anaka Nudubi Prabhu was speaking mostly about door-to-door distribution, which we don't really, in Germany, not really much familiar, and also in other countries, and this was very interesting for us to hear. And he gave us even this paper, how to proceed about going shop to shop, door to door, office to office, and he gave some very amazing leelas that he had, and Tapas Prabhu also spoke something, and Sankirtan Prabhu was speaking about interesting. So today we will speak. I think Vanidhar Prabhu and other devotees, if we can have a more like an interactive conversation, devotees can ask questions to particular speaker, and devotees and the speaker can answer, or he can transfer to another speaker or something like this. So we can. Is this okay? I don't know, Vanidhar Prabhu. There's a more senior devotee.
Question and answer was Anaka Dundubi's idea. So yes, of course it's nice always when Sankirtan meetings become interactive, because Sankirtan in itself is a service which brings lots of practical experience. We are dealing directly with the material energy. We are dealing directly with conditioned souls. And Sankirtan, the beauty of that service is that it brings us to the...
Could you go even closer, like 10 centimeters approximately? Is that okay?
What?
Like 10 centimeters.
Closer to the mic.
Yeah.
Close to the mic. Okay. So Sankirtan brings us instantly close to the revolutionary idea which Prabhupada originates in Prabhupada, that Bhakti Yoga is not for retreat or from this material field, but it is, Prabhupada, I just heard a lecture from him, he just says, it is not that at the end of the Bhagavad Gita discussion, Arjuna was relaxing at the back of the chariot, telling to Krishna, well, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I fully accepted that. You are completely in control. You already said that this result of this battle is already defined. They are all dead already, even they are standing here. And then it's wonderful to be your devotee because I can just sit here and watch. And then Prabhupada becomes even more hilarious. He just goes, and then Arjuna relaxed and smoked ganja. So, so this is not the result of Krishna consciousness, rather opposite. Prabhupada defines old age in Krishna consciousness by increased activity. It may be not possible exactly on a physical kind which we are experiencing, but one is busy, all the time busy. Now I would go maybe in some controversial field where Prabhupada was even criticized for that he's doing too many things. Swamiji is doing too many things. Organizing, collecting money, pushing people, we go and we printing books. We are more the spiritual people. We are more going inside, more inside, not this outside. Now this is straight out Mayavadian philosophy, which defines this material world as being unreal, illusory and useless. It's all inside. For Prabhupada there was no inside and there was no outside. It's all Krishna's and it can be all engaged in Krishna's service. This is the whole idea. And this is what we learn on Sankirtan. Everything can be engaged, and instead of hiding, like this place was originally designed for hiding, you know that? we should come here and hide when the Third World War comes. Because, Prabhupada said that in the middle of the war, not so easy to preach. That's a fact, Even I experienced devotees doing that. I can tell you stories about Sarajevo, Bosnia, where in the middle of the war, devotees were out there preaching. Some of them may even die like this. They may be killed. They didn't care. But Prabhupada said, nah, this is a little bit too much. So, he said Prabhupada gave us guidelines like the best defense is good offense. That means we have to attack Maya. We have to go ahead. And this is not meant in some physical sense, only we know that. No, this is meant in that we should never lose the preaching mood. And never forget that we are just very few people sitting here in Simhachalam, even at the festival. The majority of people goes to hell. That we should never forget that. There are, especially Germany, we were thinking in Germany people go to hell really efficiently. In the most organized way, determined. I don't know any better example for stupidity and stubbornness like in Germany. Stubborn like anything, there are countries like Italy or something like this. Yeah, they're also determined to enjoy, but they are more flexible. Yeah. Germans have to enjoy the German way. Organized, perfect, on time, now. But it never works really, you know that? It's always something missing. It's always something too late. And they always try to rearrange that. They always fix it. They fix the right side of the Autobahn, then the left side is breaking down. Then they move the whole Baustelle to the left side, and then the right side is breaking down. I mean, when I drive past by like Stuttgart, it's the same construction site which was there when I was 18 years old, you know that? It's just bigger and more complicated, that's all. So in Germany, so actually an ideal example how people always prepare for the ultimate perfect sanskarification. It never happens. Therefore they always walk. For what? So, and then they go to holiday and watch the Italians who are not really sometimes working very much. They're just enjoying, vino tinto. And the German sits there, this German tourist, I saw it, and they're really envious. They go, such a mess here. This Italy is so chaotic, and they are so enjoying here. No, they should fix it first, then they can enjoy. That's what we do in Germany. We fix everything, and then we enjoy. So it's another trap of Maya, It's all victimized. Prabhupada used very often the word victimized. So one should never forget that. We are here just to get little inspiration, to go out and try to do something for these people. Otherwise, what else we can do? And then you realize when you do something for others, in Krishna consciousness, the need to do also something for yourself. Like we were trained, we mean nothing. I joined this movement, which was preached openly. You are just servant. Actually, you don't mean anything. Everything for Krishna. You are not. You serve, and then you die. The problem with my case was that I didn't die. And then comes a point where you start to understand one can drive the car only to the degree you tank on a gas station. You can drive the car to the last drop of petrol, but the result is that you are standing there, not moving. So naturally, when you try to help others, the need to refuel yourself with Krishna consciousness automatically arises. Because people will understand, he's talking, but what about you? People know that. You should never underestimate the conditioned soul. They can see how much we are actually fixed in Krishna consciousness. They don't know what Krishna consciousness is, but they know what is lust, what is greed, What is envy? They know, they are champions. So when we are still affected by these things, they think, I know that, you are like me. So preacher is challenged. This is the beauty of preaching. You must shape up. So this is what essentially what Sankirtan brings to us, and this is so wonderful, while the service is so wonderful. It's good for us and it's good for them. It's beneficial both ways. I am used to, you have to,
Okay.
because, you know...
I have a question for Paramshaya Prabhu and Shivatma Prabhu.
Yeah.
This is regarding the Arabic books. Can you maybe, because this is the happening right now. What is your experience with the distribution to the distributing Arabic books?
I don't know how it is in Czech Republic, but in Germany we have lots of Arabic immigrants. No? Okay.
In Czech, I can comment very quickly. I saw a sign on a Czech door in a village. The prices of ammunition raised rapidly, so I am not giving any warning shots. And it was translated in Arabic. So much for the Czech immigration enthusiasm.
Okay. Thank you. So a devotee is always trying to think forward into the future, and so we may like it or we may not like it, but somehow Krishna has brought many millions of souls, spiritual souls in Arabic bodies to Germany, and one has to think about the possibility that these will be our future inhabitants and also future devotees. So for a devotee a devotee is not on the bodily platform. He just sees the eternal spiritual soul. And so when you approach, let's say, 10 persons on a pedestrian zone, 4 of them are Arabic. So I don't know how Arabic, but you can't read. That's the problem. I can read Arabic. So, and then I show them the book and they are already hooked. And I ask them, so you read this, I will check this. And he and please very loud, no, he speaks very loud, reads the text on the cover or even inside. We have these small books, they are already open. Yeah, and my experience is that then hardcore Muslims, for them it's difficult, but there are also many, they want to be more open for new ideas, to new worldviews, new spiritual. So for them, it is appealing.
Yes,
Prime, they just are called prime numbers. Who can give a definition what a prime number is?
In the traditional tradition, this is not the one.
Yes.
The one is not.
Yes.
But
The one is Krishna.
Yeah. The 2, the 3, the 5, the 7. So all numbers who can be divided through themselves and through the one and nothing else.
Exactly. You remember? Prime numbers are all those numbers who can only be divided by one and by themselves. And I stumbled upon an article 4 weeks ago, some, mundane article. Still the system or the algorithm of prime numbers has not been discovered. And you can get a prize of more than 1 million euro if you are the one person who can explain what is the actual algorithm of prime numbers. So just for you, you might wonder what is he talking about. In mathematics, everything has a system. It is the most logical field you can get. Everything is logic. You can count, but only prime numbers. They appear throughout the whole range of numbers in a chaotic way. There is no system. You cannot predict when that next prime number will appear. So who knows the first 20 prime numbers? You already said 2, 3, 5, 7.
11, 13.
No, without the phone. 19. What about, you said 17?
Yes.
Okay. Who? 23. What about 21?
3 times 7.
Yeah. We can divide it by other numbers. So, okay, you understand. There is, so now I want to come back to the topic. I thought, isn't it amazing that even in the most logical field, Krishna has sneaked inside as something you cannot grasp in form of these prime numbers. And Manidhara Prabhu, he told me a story 2 years ago or so. I found that very fascinating, and it reminded me of prime numbers. So, Manidhara told me the story when he was distributing books with our dear late Nikhilananda Prabhu in front of the Stuttgart station, railway station. And a person came out from the entrance, and Manidhara was, you correct me as soon as I say something wrong, Manidhara was about, and Manidhara said, it's a waste of time. Why does Nikhilananda approach exactly this person? And then comes, Nikhilananda said in a loud voice, I knew you will pass by, because people like you, they always pass by. They are never interested. And suddenly that person stopped and turned to Nikhilananda. So, what do you have? We have books about Krishna consciousness, but people like you, they never will have a look on those books. And again he felt provoked. What do you have? Let's take a look. What is it about? It's about Krishna consciousness and this and that. But people are like you, they are never interested and they will never take books. How much you want to have? Usually people give more than 10 Deutschmark for one book, but people like you. So this is the story.
He was a classical German, like 100 kilo, you know, really embodied arrogance. I just passed him by. But you have to be Nikhilananda to do this. A little guy, you know, with sharp eyes. And he smiled, he said, no, I know. He told him something quite nasty. He told him just, I never buy this kind of crap. Mm-hmm. And Nikhilananda was going, I know. Actually, the conversation was much more shorter. It was really, and the man was just, how do you know? Well, I know. I'm doing it for many years. I know people. People like you never buy a book. The man was furious. Just he said, how do you know? He said, "Why, you never buy a book. Give it to me." And then Nityananda was a little bit teasing him more. And then, and then the guy was so angry. He bought the book in full anger. And he said, "You don't know one damn thing." And then he gave me a big donation, took the book. And Nityananda, you would have to know him. He smiled, he said, "Sorry, I was wrong." I mean, he just tricked him on a false ego. I'm a genius, it's unbelievable. Anyway, this was just...
To just make the long story short, these are like the prime numbers. I think all of you who are on book distribution, you had your own prime number experiences. You think this is a regular number in the mathematic range, but then you find out, no, it's one of these numbers you couldn't predict. They are unique, they have their own dynamic. So that is a lesson I think we can take from book distribution, that Krishna, you cannot put Krishna in a box, and you can also not take the book distribution in some box and act just on logic and mathematics. So that was my...
I actually have one story, but maybe I'm not going to do we have any another prime number story?
Yes, I have two.
Yes.
Microphone for you. Okay. Yes, just remind me, it's not my personal story, but I want to share a couple of stories. One from Namahata Prabhu. Have you ever heard about Namahata Prabhu? Namahata Prabhu was he had Italian body, and when he joined, he was already pretty sick. His body was very frail, very thin, very short, and always sick. But he was especially empowered for book distribution. He had such a desire. Also, his wife passed away practically very soon. And one time he had also always some devotee helping him with the books, because he was so frail that he could not even carry the books. So one time they went in a working area, and they went in a very big factory, and they asked the secretary, "We want to talk, we have something for the boss." And the secretary very politely said, "Well, the boss is in a meeting, he's not available." And they were insisting. But we know personally the boss, his name is such, because they read the name of the firm outside. And the secretary said, "No, he's in a meeting, he cannot be disturbed." And all of a sudden, from the office of the boss, the door opened, and the boss came out and said, "I'm not calling the police, I'm beating you with my hands. I'm busy. Can't you hear, my secretary?" And Namahata Prabhu, he had a very thin voice, and he looked inside and he saw a picture of a football team. The local football team happened to be in my home city, Reggio Emilia. And he said with this very thin voice, "So you are the president of Reggiana Calcio." Calcio means soccer. "You are the famous," and he told him the first, and this one said, "Come with me." And he took him, he embraced him and went inside the office, and they stayed inside, and Namahata Prabhu talked about soccer for about half an hour. Came out, and they became best friends, and he gave a huge donation, and every 6 months he went there and bring more books like that. So don't imitate, but sometimes it happens. And another one that was very similar to the story that Manidhar Prabhu told. Raghunath Prabhu, he was also world champion in 2000, I think, 2002. 2002. He's a book distributor now. He's in the mountains. He's preaching in yoga clubs, etc. He's doing a great job. He was distributing in offices, and he went in an office, architect office, and there were about 6 or 7 young yuppies. You understand this word? You know, this young man, very successful, very rich, well-dressed, you know, young, beautiful, etc. And they were discussing, there was a big drawing on a table, and they were discussing about this drawing, how it should be like that. So he went inside, and he did his mantra, you know, I'm bringing this book, etc. And they were just laughing among each other, you know, mocking him, you know. And he became very serious and said, I knew you wouldn't, you cannot take these books. I know. And they became very, take these books. I know. And they became very serious. What do you mean? You see, there are some obstacles in spiritual life, and one of them is the beauty. You are too beautiful to take these books. And everything changed all of a sudden, you know, and they became curious about, you know, what he's talking about, you know. I said, you know, everything is here in these books. Why don't you take, I have a series of 4, you are 4, and then you can exchange to one another. I saw your friend. And so they took book and they gave a good donation. So sometimes, you know, you can apply also the philosophy, what is, you know, in the books to the book distribution, and it worked. Yeah, so Hare Krishna.
I have one story from when I was in America. We had one bhakta. He was very unusual, you can say. Americans sometimes can be very unusual in their approach. And he was standing on the street with books, and the one person, a young guy, like he was a football player, you know, strong, tough guy, very straightforward, no nonsense. And so this devotee approached him and he said, you know, excuse me, we have these books. I said, I don't have money. And the devotee looked at him and said, you are lying. And the guy was angry and left. And he came back and he told me, I said, wow, you don't say this to people, you are lying, you know. I mean, and then next day, this guy went home and he said, and he came back to the street and he met the same devotee. And he said, all night I was thinking about you. He said, you're the first in my life that told me the truth. He said, people are lying all over the place, you know, and you are the one who told me the truth, because I had $1,000 in my pocket. He was going to buy pot, marijuana. And he said, you are the one, and then he started coming, and then he became a Sankirtan devotee.
Wow.
Bhakta Luke, that's amazing.
Can I tell another story that is very, of this marathon? There is a young devotee, his name is Madhava Chaitanya Prabhu. He was here in Simachalam in about 6 or 7 years ago. Maybe some of you remember. He is a champion in breakdance. He was dancing like anything. Do you remember him? Yeah. And he makes some, you know, some move here very nicely. He was really in ecstasy. He thanked me. He thanked me like, you know, 200,000 times. You know, thank you for taking me there. You know, he had such a great time. Anyway, he was distributing, and to cut short from one place to another, he went through a park. And in this park happened to be a gang of youngsters, you know, in a very fighting mood. And when they saw him, they started to push him around, you know, especially with words, you know, who are you? Are you a boy or are you a girl? Ah, you are maybe a girl because you are wearing saffron. Like that, you know, they were. So he said, no, I'm a monk, and I'm distributing these books. And so one of them, the boss, said, okay, we will take your books, but you have to fight with us. And he said, okay.
Fight means breakdance.
Fight. Fight, no breakdance, fight. And so he put the books aside in his trolley, and he rolled up his sleeve, say, okay, I'm here. And so the first one came, the boss, and Madhava Chaitanya explained to me, that everything, when this man approached him, everything became in slow motion. He saw everything, so this guy just faked the left and went with the right, and he just, like in this matrix, he was just going like this, and he was going, and then he knew exactly when to hit. And then the first one, then the second one, and then he faked, and then, boom, and this guy went down. That was the first one. Then came the second one. Second one was a professional puncher. So he was, and he knew that he was puncher. But he saw that he was afraid. Madhava Chaitanya saw that he was afraid. So same thing, as soon as he started, everything was in slow motion for him. So he knew exactly. He punched first in the chest, so he went back, and from that moment on, everything was slow motion. So he knew, he said, I had a voice inside that was saying, now. And so, boom, and this guy, boom, went down. And then came the third one. The third one was a giant, like my good friend, but much wider. Very tall, like Sankirtan Prabhu, but twice as wide. And he said, I will not punch you because I'm a professional wrestler. So we have to wrestle. Do you agree? And he said, okay. Madhava Chaitanya Prabhu is not very big. I mean, maybe 170 at the most. And this guy was almost double than him. So they start to wrestle, and Madhava Chaitanya is as quick as a thunderbolt. And so he turned around and grabbed his neck like this, and he whispered in his ears, surrender, otherwise I choke you. And so this guy didn't say anything, and Madhava Chaitanya all of a sudden let him go. And when he let him go, this guy turned around. So he was a little tricky, and took Madhava Chaitanya by the neck. And the Madhava Chaitanya again, in a way or another, escaped from this grip, and again took it, and I said, now I will not tell you, I will choke you. And so, and then this one, before he died, before you die, you faint. So when he fainted, he just let him go, and he went down. And Madhava Chaitanya said, now, you have to buy the books. And everybody, there were about 10 guys, they started to take out, €2, €5, like that, and they took 3 or 4 books. Haribo. Prime number?
Maybe not doing this at home.
Yeah, don't do it at home. Don't imitate unless you are Madhava Chaitanya Prabhu.
There's one detail that when you hear such stories, that at a particular time, by empowered devotee, don't try to imitate that. It may not be the particular time, and you may not be empowered. So be careful. We have our own stories. Every Sankirtan devotee has their own story, where he suddenly did on a certain point something he couldn't imagine to do. And this is the beauty of Sankirtan, nimitta matram. Nimitta matra means you just become a tool and watch what Krishna can do with you. When you come in that position, Sankirtan becomes extremely pleasant, because you just watch.
Would Sankirtan Prabhu, Mahabhavi Prabhu here? Oh, I don't see. If you like to maybe tell some story from rainy Bergen. By the way, Mahabhavi Prabhu is a very senior Sankirtan devotee. He distributes even now books every day. And he's basically, the temple is maintained by book distribution of Mahabhavi Prabhu. He's a great wonderful, amazing devotee. And on top of it, he's a very extremely humble. So this is like
Which temple?
Bergen, Norway.
It's a country which most of the devotees here would be in despair. It's a country of vast landscapes, no people, and sometimes very strange people coming out of the vast landscapes. They are polite, they are nice, but they have this Teflon quality, you know, Teflon? Nothing sticks to it. It's like slippery, you know. So you just go hello, and they go hello, and then they keep on walking, you know. It's just like, the whole thing is happening on another level. It's almost hypnotic. So for some, I remember some devotees, I remember Italy, oh my God, Italy and in Norway, it must be really a disaster. You know, because in Italy it's all out, you know, it's all, la, la. You can hear the stories from Italy. It's incredible. People, you can get people crying on the street. You just go, la, la, and they go, la, la, you know. It's exactly opposite from Norway. So every country has its challenges, you know. So he is surviving completely alone mostly there. Just alone. Just getting help here, you know, some Russian coming, some Indian coming, or whatever. This is quite amazing how you can sustain this kind of Krishna consciousness. You have to be very, very determined. Very determined in such a highly impersonal environment to maintain the supreme personal philosophy and maintain the supreme personal outlook towards the world. Because Mayavada is infectious, you know. After a while, you just give up. You just think, oh, yeah. Okay, then I'm also nobody. So, everybody is nobody, so I'm also nobody. What's the use? No. You have to stand against it, and that's what he's doing. He's just, hello, you know, and nice, you know, just doesn't give up. These Nordic countries are very, very challenging in this regard. It was just the Czech devotees coming to Sweden, you know, last year. They came out a little bit frozen, a little bit shaken, you know, because the people are like, yeah, and that's it. You know, they don't even look in your eyes. In Norway it's a bit better. In Sweden they don't even look in your eyes. Looking in the eyes, that's an offense. You don't do that. You just talk. No, and then, you know, it's hard to imagine from German point of view even, what to speak of Czech one. In Czech, before you distribute book, you know that the dog ran away and the wife was nasty and, you know, and blah, 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 blah. You know, they just tell you the whole story. You know? So that's also a challenge. In Czech, I always think, so much talking, you know, come on. In German, it's like, you know, keine Zeit, you know, yeah. So you just go bang, 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 you know. Okay, all right, bang, yes, no, bang, you know. Abgestempelt, you know, bang, and that's out. In Czech, if you would go like this, they would think you are crazy, you know. They're like, what? You know. And in Italy, I was 1.5 years in Italy. It's just like, I'm coming from an opera background, you know. My father was a musician, so I felt like in a constant opera, you know, in Italy. It's just like, But you meet really wonderful people. They're very pious people in Italy. Very nice, very nice. Anyway,
Not always.
You can say something, please. Try to say something, yeah, come Norway, but you have to push him to say something. He's from Norway, you know.
My father is from Switzerland.
Father's from Switzerland. Ah, that's the news. Now I know why you are a devotee.
So, maybe I don't have that mood in Norway, which they have so much. But I've been there for a long time now, and sometimes I truly wonder how I will continue. Actually, so it's very good for me to be here, and we need more visitors also there from other places. So. A story I can tell from this marathon. It's more like how Krishna controls a little bit my, or to get strength every day. It's a lot about doing a little bit the right thing at the right time, to get outdoor the right time, to make the right moves. So I went alone to a city where there is a devotee friend there, or Krishna friend. I stayed with him, and I went. When I left him after some days, just packed my stuff in the morning, went away, and after driving to the distribution place, I had to take some nap because I was so tired. So I had to drive off the road, found a place to stop, took a nap, and then I just blacked out in the car. I woke up, it was already a little late, so I had to find back to the road, and driving, it was a new sign, so I had to find the road. And then suddenly there was a sign to a small city, and I was thinking maybe I should try this place. So I went there, and then immediately when I came there, I saw there was like in Norway the alcohol you can only buy in special shops.
It's only one in Sweden. The same thing. There is only one shop, national occupied. This is which is you can buy alcohol.
And this was on a Friday.
Yeah.
So I saw that everything was centered around this.
Systembolaget or what?
Yeah, it's called Vinmonopolet.
Huh?
The monopoly of.
In Sweden it's called Systembolaget. It's the only place you can buy some alcohol.
So it was there in that city, like and everything was going around. I saw the cars. I saw just my perfect place. Little cars, people walking. I can switch a little bit. So I wanted to go out, just park the car, just go out immediately. But then I parked the car, and then at first I have to say my Gayatri. Okay, so then I said my Gayatri. And then after saying my Gayatri, I was thinking, I haven't read anything, but maybe I wasn't. But then suddenly my enthusiasm after saying Gayatri, it just went a little down for going out. Okay, so I do my reading, and then I read 15 minutes. And then still my enthusiasm for going out just left me somehow, and then, okay, so let's take prasadam. So then I took my lunch bag and I ate all the prasadam. And I just saw that it was the right thing to do. We don't skip the sadhana. I said my Gayatri, I did the reading, and then I did the eating, and then I was ready to go out for 4 hours and just go everywhere to these people. And so it was just a realization of it was like Krishna not taking away my inspiration. You have to do this first, then you have to do this. Now you're ready, now you can go. And then I was out there for 4 hours, and the first person I met, she was almost like crying that you're here now. That's so special. I must be. She took all the books, and it was a good day, all in all. So just some realizations there.
That's when I first time came to Sweden, 1986. Ferocious winters, -30, -40, and devotees drove in a snowstorm to a place there was nothing. And I said, "You are distributing books here? Are you joking?" "Oh, it's marathon." I said, "There's nobody here." No, don't worry, they will come." There was only one sign in that snowstorm, illuminated, Srimad-Bhagavatam. That's the place where they sell the alcohol. So most of the marathon those days were taking place around the shops with alcohol, because everybody comes to that place. And I said, "These people, they read books?" And he said, I don't know, but because they always also have a bankomat, they have a machine for pulling out money next to it. So this was like the holy places in Sweden, because, everybody goes to that place. And I left devotee there, because there was only one devotee could distribute. So I had to drive them to another village, which in Sweden is like 100 kilometers here, 200 kilometers here. It's just this kind of distance. You think really differently in terms of distance. So I was driving from one Srimad-Bhagavatam to the other in this snowstorm, and just put another guy there. And they unloaded like 10 boxes of books, banana box. And I said, "There's no people here. You have more books as people here. Come on." "Oh, don't worry, they will come." And I picked them up in the evening. The boxes were empty. Everybody practically buys a book, because it's a snowstorm. There's nobody there. You come out there, and there's a guy with a book, yeah. And I said, "These people don't look to me like they know even how to read." "No, but they're nice. They're happy somebody is here, because nobody is here. Somebody is here. They think, oh, this is a very exciting experience. Somebody came, This is actually the level these books were distributed. You cannot imagine it from a German point of view, because German is always, oh boy, in Germany on the street there was a momentum. We were thinking maybe there are too many Germans on this planet. It's just, Stau, and bang, 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 bang on top of each other, and everybody running. When I came to Sweden, the first thing I was thinking, where is everybody? It's just nobody here. I stay right now in Sweden on a street, on major roads, country roads. Maybe once an hour a car is passing by. That's big traffic. So this is a place like this. In Sweden, the biggest challenge was to find people. Once you found them in a countryside, they were usually quite okay, the woodcutter type and fisherman type, and they were like, whoa. Norway was, oh my God. I came 1975, first time to Norway. I was the first devotee distributing there, actually. And the capital town, Oslo, was like a fisherman village. And they were like, oh. The problem was nobody was speaking English. So I was desperate. It's a long story, I don't want to take the whole time here away, but we end up with 3 devotees, German devotees, Bharata, Sudesna and me in Oslo, 1975, 2 o'clock in the morning. Empty, dead town. We're going, okay, now we are supposed to distribute here. So the only place which was illuminated was a hotel next to the shopping street, one hotel. So I went in and I said, sorry, actually we are monks, we have some rooms. Well, a strange guy in reception, he said, well, yeah, there is room at the end of the corridor, you can have it. So I was going, thank you very much. So I told to the brahmacharis, okay, let's go. And we had car full boxes of these LPs, of this, and some books. So we didn't know, and there was a window broken on the car. So we thought, no, we will unload the whole car in the room. So we carried all the boxes in the room. Everybody was tired, went to sleep. Next morning, I went to the reception to the guy, and he said, okay, so we want to stay for 2 weeks, And he said, okay, I will give you a special price. And then when I was paying, there was a lady coming down the stairs. She wasn't even dressed. I was like, what is this? Then I look around, and it was like red curtains and red tables, and everything was red velvet. And I realized, oh my God, we bunkered ourselves in a brothel house. So I went to the devotees and I said, okay, Prabhu, this is finished. We are packing, And they looked at me and said, yeah, are you nuts? We just unpacked the whole car in a room here. We have to carry all the boxes back. No, we are staying here. And it was just next to the shopping street. So we distributed for 2 weeks from the brother house. And, I don't think it was a big problem. We were just ground floor in the reception. We just went out. And actually some of the ladies, they took a book too. It was, but nobody spoke English. The first day, that's Krishna, I met a boy who was studying university. He spoke English. So I told him, I cannot distribute these books. Nobody speaks English. Could you come with me and help me? And he was like, no, why not? So he just went with me, and I stopped the people. I gave them a book, and he translated the mantra. He spoke, and I was doing the physical part. And he was going with me the whole day. In the evening, he was so in ecstasy. He said, what is this? I'm completely happy. I was never happy like this in my life. What is this? Can I come tomorrow again? I said, sure. So for 2 weeks he was going with me. He was in Sankirtan. It was amazing. So this is not the Norway of today. Oh, this is not the Oslo from today. The country changed so for the bad. But he is still in Bergen. That's more, it's still a little bit fisherman thing.
Still German, actually.
Eh?
There were many Germans there. They
traveled by boat. Oh, really? So Oslo became very difficult. So much craziness going on. But I came in a time we were thinking we are like on another planet. You cannot imagine how much money we collected in 2 weeks. I came back to Germany, which was a difficult place. There was a heavy police campaign and everything. So I came back to Germany, and the Tamil president just saw this pile of money on his table. And he just smiled, and he was going, when are you going again? So we went then second time in a more summertime, not in a winter. Anyway, this is stories from Norway. But when I see him, I always remember this. And now Norway has a temple. He just bought a nice building in a central Bergen, wonderful location. But as he mentioned, maybe I can repeat this for you. If somebody would like to go sometimes to Norway and help him, that would be great. Just, he is a really lonely man there.
I'm going. Shivatma Prabhu?
Yeah, I thought because it just fits to our theme. I remember Shivatma told me many times that they were distributing in the northeast of Germany, which is also quite empty.
Yeah. And
they were in a Sankirtan van with 2 devotees. I don't want to mention their names, it is very long ago, but sometimes even Sankirtan devotees, they have this competition lila, and I think Manidhara knows all well what I'm speaking of. Sometimes you had this competition lila. So
can be driven to an extreme.
So Shivatma Prabhu, he was always be placed at a not so good spot, and these other 2 devotees, they drive with the van to a good spot. Yeah? But in the evening, all his banana boxes were empty, and they were always, we know that you again took the best spot, the better spot, but tomorrow you will get the worse spot and we will take the better place. And then the next day, same happened. He emptied all his banana boxes at that so-called better space, and they were again little bit angry. And then they thought, tomorrow we will just place Shivatma at a traffic light in the nowhere with 2 big banana boxes, or in some village. And there was only one traffic light. And Shivatma, he went to that traffic light and he waited that a car came, and he distributed all the books at that one traffic light. And they came in the evening, couldn't believe it. Yeah.
This is called ahaituke apratyata. It cannot be stopped by material circumstances. And Prabhupada also translated, it doesn't depend on material circumstances. I could chip in stories, from German highways. Stuck on a German highway, right away in the morning, heading for a nectar spot. Stau. Stuck. Big, And we were between 2 exits, we couldn't get out. And devotees were like, oh, here goes our Maharaj. I remember, I just turned around, I was going, Sankirtan ki jai. So they knew. They just jumped out of the car. Everybody jumped in, just standing there. And from behind, this is just a technical advice for those who would like to try. If you approach cars, come from behind. When you come from front, they get ready. Oh, somebody coming. When you come from behind, they don't know. So if they come from behind, and they hello. And people stand there in a queue. Just whole family, everybody's stacked. And they're kind of surprised. Well, nobody expects to buy a book in the middle of the highway. And you just go, hello, we have books, nice books for nice people, I can read and this and that. And I saw this whole Sankirtan party. I had to stay in a car behind the steering wheel. So they slowly disappeared in front of me in this big queue of cars. And it took like 1 hour before the whole show started to move a little bit like that. So I started driving, said, where are they? And I saw them still the car was slowly driving, they were still distributing book there. And they just jumped in a car, completely in ecstasy. They were going, where is the next queue? So we tuned the radio, They inform you which highways are stuck. And I was going, oh, that's A4, this is just Oleg. We took an exit and we got stuck again and everybody jumped out. We were just doing that day only queues, It was, nobody planned for such a thing. You don't expect such a thing to happen. So.
Does any of the audience maybe have a question for the particular devotee or for all of them? Do we have any questions or do we have anything to ask or something?
Hare Krishna. Thank you very, very much for all your inspirational talks and your stories. So my question is, because you all do it for such a very, very long time, for generations after generation after generation, and you still keep in touch with book distribution, especially book distribution, which is quite not so obvious to do anymore, maybe. At least I'm out of touch since some years. And maybe all of you, or maybe some also Sankirtan Prabhu or other devotees maybe can tell, or even the youngest who are here, and one can see them now on Facebook, and this is so ecstatic, to see them and smiling and then sharing. What keeps you inspired? What is your route? What is your place you go to simply stick to it and to do it? Like, maybe you can start.
Yeah, what makes me stick to it? First of all, I feel it's my service. that Krishna wants me to do it. And also I'm inspired by on Sankirtan, I can really strive for this verse, karma niyavadikaraste ma paleshu kadachana, to that I have a right to do my duties but not be attached to the results. So Sankirtan is, as I told my friend when we did this marathon, that Sankirtan is cheto darpana marjanam. It's cleansing the heart. So therefore the first thing is not distribute books. The first thing is to make, to try our best and also make a nice relationship with people. That's the Sankirtan. That's purifying our heart. That's making us humble. That's a humble attitude. And then from that comes book distribution. So if the results is not there, still you have been on Sankirtan. Yeah. So that's really been an important inspiration for me all these years. That doesn't matter. It's not because of the results, because Sankirtan is really cheto darpana marjanam, cleansing the mirror of the heart, purifying the heart. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Wonderful stories. I am not a big book distributor. I just very seldom distribute some book. But when I came here, I was thinking, I'm going now to the Sankirtan festivals, and I'm not distributing. This is not a good idea. So when I was in Passau, I have little candles, and I just stood there and had I took one Bhagavad Gita with me. So I sang Hare Krishna all the time. And then I want to give up, I was just standing here with mine. And then I would say, no, I will not. I'm going to the Sankirtan Festival. So I continued, and then somebody stopped. And I said, maybe you want to book? Yes. So I distributed at least one Bhagavad Gita before coming here. That's my little contribution.
Sankirtan. Okay, so in answer to you, I'm just thinking. I don't think about it so much, actually. I just consider that my life, duty, and of course I'm also human, so I have some feelings and and some thoughts, and mind, and so yeah, sometimes mind comes and maybe you will not be able to continue, or maybe it's time to end, or maybe you have so many other duties like that. But the longer you are there, the more strange it would be for others to see you stopping. Yeah. So everybody expects Sankirtan to go out on Sankirtan. So if you yeah. So that's one thing. For me personally also, because I'm in charge of a center and farm and devotees and like that, so it's kind of heavy job. So Sankirtan is a place when I can relieve, be a little more. I just can leave everything behind, and I just am there, relax, be there with people, and just focus on. Of course, Sankirtan is not very much relaxing in that sense. For many, it's very big challenge, and it's also for me. But in this challenge, I can pray to Krishna. I can be with Krishna not in sentimental way, but always praying and depending and be in Krishna consciousness. And social things and management things and burdens can be a little bit side, at least for some time. So this gives me actually, for myself, it gives me strength to continue also with the other services, because it's kind of spiritual recreation for me. So because when I come, usually when I was young brahmachari, we went for traveling Sankirtan from Temple Prague. Then we came back and we have little free weekend, to recharge, have good kirtan and relax, read, prepare cars. We didn't have to do many services just to prepare for next week. But now it's opposite, When I come back, so many things have to be done.
And then when I go out, okay, some relax is there, some freedom. Yeah, when you are on behind the steering wheel, you know, and the sun is setting down, and you are driving, and the temple is behind you, and.
I would like to a little bit comment on this. In 54 years since I chant Hare Krishna, I never met a devotee like Sankirtan. You cannot imagine how loaded that man is. Just because I know him from the days he was basically joining, from the simple brahmacharya days. The man is managing a farm, Grihastha community, under very avant-garde, you could say, a very idealistic circumstances. He's dealing with Grihasthas, brahmachari. Then he crying Mataji ends up in his room. On a room, not room. As I'm talking to him, kids are sticking to him. He's like the uncle, you know. You know, it's a small community, but full of course, when people live together, there are problems, yes, there are challenges. They are reconstructing a completely devastated old communistic farm, which is, double the size or 4 times the size of Simhachalam. He is part of the reconstruction. You find him hanging on the roof, fixing the roofs of the Grihasthas. You know, he is everywhere. And, he is, whatever problem is, that's his problem. So when I come around, I see it, I go, okay, well, that would be the end, first of all, the end of, that's how I end up being brahmachari. I became a manager, I became a temple president. He's doing all this. Then comes, and then, they are doing things, they are building alternative houses and this. He knows all, he's all part of it. And then on top of that, by the way, he just took over a bankrupt restaurant downtown in Brno with, I don't know how many devotees are involved there, but it's a full running restaurant. Well, that's also his project now. Any pot missing, that ends up on his table. Yeah. That's, by the way, he's calling, on a Sankirtan marathon. No, don't buy this pot. Now, yeah, we have 1 pot extra, don't buy it. And then he keeps on distributing. He can from zero, from all this huge mass, managerial stuff, he can from zero switch like this, go on the street. And how he distributes books, I was a few times with him out, I will never figure out. He is distributing, he maybe doesn't even know it, but he's distributing just being himself. It's, first of all, it's a 2-meter high guy. People always go, good morning, I don't want to go too personal and too autobiographic, but he's coming from a background which is very much duty-oriented. So, so he appears, personally, if he would have a police uniform, I wouldn't be amazed. It's the same kind of thing. Hello, and people take shelter in him on the street. They are like, yes, okay, yes, yeah. He is never begging people. People are always like, yes, well, maybe I could buy the book, yes. And he is like, of course, we will take care of you. Like this. This is this kind of, he doesn't even know it, that he has this kind of output. People just take shelter in him. So it's just amazing. And he distributes most of the books in the whole Czech Republic. Totally. How he does it, nobody knows. He goes to crazy places to, I can show you a video they sent me, him gliding through the snow, through the marathon, there's some mountain regions, He used to have a little camera here. You still have it here?
Yeah, in the pocket phone.
In the pocket. And you can find videos from him walking into people's houses. These people come out as, pure savages. The guy is, like in Czech, it's considered very, in the villages, you are really in a very luxurious person. When you completely overheat your house in the winter, it's plus 35 degrees inside. And then you walk in underwear and you think, I'm God. This is a Czech type of enjoyment, Now this kind of people come out of these houses, they don't look like they know even how to read. And he's selling them books like this. It's unbelievable. There's films from that recording. So I don't want to embarrass him to turn it all into this, but I never saw a devotee like this who can switch just like that, from one minute to the other, from this managerial chaos, up to the street, which requires one thing, and that's the basis of Sankirtan: simplicity, purity, and simplicity. This is the key to do that. It's so simple that most people cannot do that. Because we are so complicated. Why should I do that? How do I do that? I used to take bhaktas out, and then you see this big mind. No, I cannot do that. The whole formula of Sankirtan is just do it. Take a book, here, and go. I used to introduce bhaktas to Sankirtan and tell them, hey, listen, they walk, you walk. So meet them. Point number one. Point number two. Most of the people have two hands. They hang like this. So you aim with the book for this area here, like this. And you will see the hand will come automatically up. Drop the book. They have it in the hand. Oh, what shall I do then? Smile. Hey. Even you don't feel like that, you must smile. Look in the eyes and go, hello, how are you? We have a nice book for you. The mantra, not so important. Everybody has his own way to say things. People ask me in Germany, where you are coming from? I said, from there. And now I go over here. Oh, okay. What's in the book? I told him paper. Lots of paper. Do you know how to read? Of course. Do you like read books? Yes, I like to read books. Then you have it in the hand, you take it. What's in the book? I said something very simple. Something which will make you very happy. And they go, what is it? Well, read the book. So things like that. Simple. Most do it. And this is actually against Sankirtan. I never saw him doing some trickery or some vow technique or nothing. He just goes to the book. And they go, okay. And now we have a book. Okay. And now we have to pay. Okay. In summarized, it's unbelievable. And this is why many devotees have this ship, because they just, they just try to think it over. Don't think of it, they just do it. And pray to Krishna, because this is only by His mercy it can happen. And that's all. That's what Sankirtan is. Okay.
Jai. So now I would like to, Paramatma Prabhu. He's the many years winner of the Sankirtan Marathon in Germany, or the whole year, so he definitely has some experience.
Joy.
Wo ist your microphone? I would speak in German.
You have to translate.
Okay. Hare Krishna, liebe devotees here.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees.
Kommt ihr von hier oder von dort?
Are you coming from here or are you coming from there?
Seid ihr gebildet, verbildet oder eingebildet? Okay. Ja. Buchverteilung ist das, was uns am Leben hält.
This book distribution is something which holds our life, which is part of our life.
Nicht nur einfach materiell, auch spirituell.
But not only material, but spiritual also.
Und Sie sehen, ich kann das damit nicht aufhören.
They see it, but they cannot
Nee,
stop.
er sieht das, dass ich nicht kann aufhören.
Oh, basically you cannot stop doing book distribution.
Can you speak in the mic? You know, I can't
Yeah, yeah.
hear.
Speak to the mic. Oh,
When you translate.
okay, so ich speak to the mic.
Okay. Für mich ist jetzt spontan, was zu sagen.
For me, this is spontaneous now. I don't know what to say at the moment.
Spricht.
So Germans, they like when people
Spricht.
So Germans, they like when people speak, when you speak.
Wir mögen nicht einfach von denen was zu hören. Du musst einfach zu dem gehen und einfach sprechen.
So he said.
Einfach keine Zeit haben mehr.
So people have no time to speak anything. You have to go to them and speak to them.
Und die sollen einfach überrascht sein über dieses Gespräch und dann nehmen die ein Buch.
So when they're surprised with your approach, then they will take a book.
Und das so wie es läuft in Deutschland.
This is how it works. This is how it works in Germany.
Du musst denen einfach
You simply have to
überraschen. Einfach.
surprise them
Oder mit Wort oder mit Mimik oder mit verschiedenen Sachen.
with mimics or with words, or somehow you have to surprise them.
Dann sind die zufrieden und nehmen das Buch.
Then they will be happy and they'll take a book.
So, es ist viel zu sagen, aber es ist gar nichts zu sagen, außer wie Manidar Prabhu sagt einfach, nimm die Bücher in Hand und geh auf die Straße.
There's so many things to say, but there's also not many things to say. As Manidar Prabhu said, just take the books in your hand and go out on the street.
Weil hinter uns steht einfach Prabhupada, Guru, die ganze Guru Parampara, Shishi Gonitai steht hinter uns. Wir sollen mal keine Angst haben.
Yeah, so behind us are standing all these Gonitai, Guru Parampara, so we should not have any fear.
So, das ist meine Erfahrung, das ist eigentlich,
This is my experience.
kann man nie verlieren in dieser Tätigkeit.
You cannot lose by doing this activity. Hare Krishna. Paramatma Prabhu ki jai. Samadhu Prabhu, you want to say a story about
Paramatma allows me to glorify you. I can. Yeah, I know. Yeah. And we did traveling together, and I had a great honor that he accept me as his disciple. He was my leader, and it was simply amazing because to travel with Paramatma Krishna Prabhu was bringing my Sankirtan in, I don't know, it was how many years? 18 years back, maybe. Something like this. And he just came into the van with 2 big pots, like glass, with paneer, fried paneer, so that we have good food. So he wanted always the Sankirtan also that everybody is satisfied in the van with the prasadam. And I just can tell you one story that it was tough winter, it was -10, and then suddenly the car broke, and we were on the parking lot, and I just washed the pots, and then the water comes out on the street, and the water was frozen. But Paramatma Krishna Prabhu was lying under the car and repairing the car with his fingers, and he had maybe one screwdriver and something else. And it was -9, 10 degrees. This is the glories of Paramatma Krishna Prabhu. He's also doing so much in our Yatra in Berlin also, building a Jagannath Balaram Subhadra altar. And Paramatma Krishna Babu, he's like a soldier. Like, we always were like, we need some rest after morning program. But he was like, after morning program, goodbye, leave me alone. I want to be on the street now, you know. Bam, closed door, poof. And we're like, okay, take rest, go. But then I thought, okay, no, I have to grab to his lotus feet and simply tune in his style and his mercy, and overcome simply my laziness. And yeah, like this, one could also like establish some more distribution like this. Yeah, that's all. Thank you. Rebel.
Next, if you don't mind, I would like to ask devotees who recently went to Albania to distribute books, if they could share who you were in Albania? Who else was in Albania? This is like a totally new field, unheard of until recently. So if they can share some experience, how is that? Markandeya? No?
Yes, Sankirtan can summarize.
Okay, so Markandeya Prabhu with team he created with Radha Govinda Karuna there, and some other devotees were there in Albania this year for 3 months mission. So we have been first time in Albania from our team. I think we were like the second Sankirtan team who came there. First there was Trilokatma with some devotees from Croatia. Yes, Slovenia, and so that was maybe 2016, I don't know, something like that. Then we went 2018, 3 of us for 3 weeks in Sankirtan van. So we had some experience there. Then last year we have been there with Markandeya and one more Brahmachari who is now going to get married soon. And this year, and Markandeya somehow felt a little in love there, in the preaching there. So he was thinking, okay, let me try next year to do something more. So they decided to go there for 3 months. So he managed to do some collection, some sponsors for the journey, and like that. So 3 of them, they went in October, beginning of October, and with the idea that they will rent a center. So they have rented a flat. First they came, they didn't have place to stay, so they stayed in some Airbnb flats. Finally they found a proper flat, so they rented it and started to do book distribution, mostly in Tirana, the capital. So as most of you probably know, Albania is a Muslim country, mostly Muslims. And of course it was under a very strict atheistic communist rule just till quite recently. And people, even though they are Muslims, most of them are very much liberal. They tolerate other religions. They're okay. They're kind of Muslims like we have Christians here. They don't really are fanatics like we hear from other places which are Muslim based. So yeah, they're quite polite. They are very poor. I mean, they are able to spend for new iPhone and first class dress, but they get indebted. And then when you want to, because the book is 200 lakh, now 300, and this is like 100 lakh is €1. So to get this donation from them, it's kind of challenge. And so you live on low budget, khichdi diet whole time. But nice khichdi, I guess. So yeah, so they did first Prabhupada Marathon actually in Albania this year in history. So 3-4 of them every day in the street distributing. There is perfect questions, perfect answers translated into Albanian and Ishopanishad. Ishopanishad, there is some rumors that the translation is not very proper, very good, but the perfect questions are supposed to be much better. And I think they work on some other book, isn't it? Which one is it? Life Comes Through? Perfection of Yoga? Okay, so That will be another book. So flat is still there, still rented. Markandeya had to come back after the marathon. They were doing programs, of course, Sunday feasts every Sunday. So they have some small congregation of kind of Krishna friends. Nobody committed yet fully to Krishna consciousness. It's not that easy in 3 months. But the flat is there now, rented. So one devotee is paying for it and is planning to come back in March there. So if anybody is willing to have some adventure in Albanian mountains and countrysides and in Tirana and other places, the base is there, just to grab the books and distribute them. So.
What kind of language do they speak? They speak Albanian?
Shchip, as they say, Shchip. That means Albanian. Albania means Shqiperia. Shqiperia is a kind of eagle, a female eagle, I guess, and with two heads. So that means Shqiperia, and the language is Shchip. So they had to, all of them, because many people, they don't speak English. In capital they speak quite a lot, but if you go outside of capital, practically nobody speaks English. So you have to learn mantras in Albanian. So that's part of the thing. Only Radha Govinda Karura Prabhu, he doesn't speak English, he doesn't speak Albanian, and he was distributing a whole month there. So that was kind of interesting. He knew only Dumilek, Tremilek. That means 200, 300. The essence. So then we will see what will be the plan. Markandeya Prabhu is also in touch with Trai Prabhu from Italy, who is also interested what's going on there, and there is maybe some devotees from Europe maybe would be interested to come, because he cannot come because I will not allow him to move there. I need him. So he missed for 3 months, so he now has to catch up with his service. So yeah.
They distributed lots of books. Yeah. How many?
2,300 these perfect questions, Albanian books. Yeah, and when we heard last year, we have been there, so we now use that as propagation. We have been in the TV. The man came into our van, and in the evening, it was like 9 o'clock in the evening, we were parking next to the lake, and he came there into our van and made an interview like 1 hour, and he made it so nicely, and they put it on TV, and it's really nice, sweet conversation, and also we were on radio and like that, so there is some potential there, so let's see what will happen next.
Okay, I was thinking maybe one of the Matajis would like to say something. Sukanya Lalita Mataji, she's distributing books also in Czech. We had the opportunity to distribute books even together, my wife and herself. And would you like to say maybe a few words? She said no, but we say yes.
Yeah, I have to a little bit apologize because my English is not so good, and also I was not thinking that I will tell something. But what can I tell? I'm so happy that we can meet always here, like whole Sankirtan devotees together, because I had also a feeling that the started time that we are like less Sankirtan devotees, so it's nice to be again like together. And I distribute books this marathon, but I couldn't do it like whole time. But I have two nice friends here, Kasta Mataji and Vidarbha Kanya Mataji, and they distribute so nice this marathon books. So I think they can maybe say something, because Kasta Mataji, she distribute I think maybe 800 books. She was the best from Mataji, and she was really because we every day, I don't know if you do also in your country, but we every day we have group WhatsApp group, and we can every day in the evening see how much who distributed the books, and she was really like fixed up, and every day she has like maybe around 30 and 35, 40 like this, and I really feel that she's really concentrate only about this like distribution. So it was like nice to to see them how can nicely distribute. So I'm very happy for all of you who distribute the books, because we have to do it for Prabhupada and also for our Maharajis, Guru Maharajis, because they are always happy that we can continue this service, this main service. So thank you.
Haribol, Haribol. And before we go back to the honorable guests, I would like to ask our youngest book distributorin in Germany, Bhaktin Heidi, who did special book distribution this marathon. Explain about the boxes you made.
Oh. Yes, I went out with Krishna Bhumi Mataji from Austria, and we had the idea to pack some book packages wrapped in wrapping paper, in Christmas paper, because it was Christmas time. And so we had the idea to go to the Christmas market, and usually book distribution there is not really easy because they just want to drink and eat and have some fun and something like this. So we thought with some presents it would be really nice to approach the people, and we said it's just like a mystery surprise book box, and they can just take one, and it is a surprise. They don't know what is inside. I mean, we explained a little bit on the topic what could be in the boxes, but it was a surprise for everybody, and it was like, I don't know, they saw the nice packages, and they were like, the eyes were, I mean, they really loved it actually, and you didn't need to explain so much. Most people immediately grabbed their pocket, and they just take one. It was so easy, and you didn't need to explain so much. And yeah, it was really nice for them, this kind of surprise. Yeah, and so they could buy themselves a present for Christmas, and it went really, really well. And in a few hours, really many books went out, and we got also great Lakshmi. So, Haribol.
So you approached people. Hey, stop! I have a Christmas gift for you.
Yeah.
They have baskets with all these, right?
Yes.
Because
we said like, look, we have a Christmas surprise mystery book box or something like this, and for everybody you can just take one, and on a free donation basis. You know.
And they were not suspicious, like this is maybe a rip-off?
Not really, not really. Yeah.
In Italy it would happen. They would be suspicious. But in Austria, no.
This is it's regarding the rip-off, which comes up the issue sometimes on Sankirtan. This is the proof. I mean, I don't know anybody I don't know who had this, but she's the proof. When you do things simply and purely, there is no question of rip-off. And I distributed like in Denmark for quite, it's a very heavy issue in Denmark. What are you collecting for? Because people have a very bad experience with these charity, organizations and all this. And I couldn't believe it. I was with a devotee on the street, and people always ask us, so, where's the money going, huh? Huh? What are you collecting for, huh? Huh? And I saw him doing something which was so pure, and so once again, so simple. He just smiled at the people, and we're going, what are you collecting? Who are you collecting for? He said, for me. And they were going, oh, for you? Yeah, of course, then I can give. Because it was quite evident what they are giving money for. It's as simple as that. But you have to be very, very pure, like that. And that's what Prabhupada said, purity is the force. Not this trickery and all this and all these techniques. And it's the purity. Like Mataji said, I took out many Matajis on Sankirtan. I mean, in Germany, I shouldn't say it too loudly, but I really enjoyed that. Because this big Germans coming up, and the Matajis, they have this Shakti, I remember this big German standing in front of the Mataji going, what will you do when I don't take the book? You know, and she just looked at him. It was a young Mataji. She said, oh, if you don't take the book, then I will cry. And the man was like, oh, okay, no crying, no crying, okay, how much? I couldn't do that. If I would do that, they would go, yeah, cry for yourself. But you know, ladies have this extra shaktis, they can do things like that. Prabhupada calls them our secret weapons. Nobody expects, you know, in a Vedic culture it's unthinkable. This is Prabhupada's invention. You know, this is actually where it started. He put the ladies on the street. And there was always the same problem. We were all brahmacharis, brahmacharinis, and who is going to manage the ladies? Brahmacharis? No. I don't know, it was always me. Oh. I asked my authorities, why should I do that? You know, and they said, somebody has to take care of that. You know, Germany has a rich history on this. Many of German books were distributed by very powerful Mataji Sankirtan parties. I could write a book about it, what happened out there on the street, what I saw them doing, unbelievable. So, Lord Chaitanya is not a chauvinist. No. Everybody can get the mercy. Everybody. And Sankirtan, that's what Prabhupada arranged. Anybody can be part of it if he wants to.
And I can do Vipra.
I just want to say something about the question that was raised before. Usually when I approach the people, I do my mantra, and not always, but sometimes they say, but you know, why you are here? Why you came to me? And my answer is always the same, and it comes from the heart. And I say, I can tell you many things, and all of them are true. But the most true thing is that I just want to share with you my happiness. And they are puzzled. You say, wow. You know, nobody ever told me a thing like that. And they understand that this is true. Because, you know, Sankirtan is, sometimes it's tough, sometimes it's not tough, but at the end is always blissful. Everybody knows that. And I want to share you a very short story about one member of our congregation. He used to come to the Sunday feast. He has his job, I don't even remember what job he has. And practically every month he comes and buys a Srimad-Bhagavatam set. And first month, second month, third month. And after maybe one year, I asked him, but you know a lot of people, you know, you are distributing, you're very nice, you know, would you like to be in the ranking of the book distributors? And he said, no, I'm okay. And then he continued, you know, the second year. Every month he bought a Srimad-Bhagavatam set. And at the end, I asked him, you know, privately, but to whom you are distributing this Bhagavatam set, you know, that you are buying? And he very shyly said, actually, I don't distribute them. I keep them. Keep them. Yes, because every time that I buy a Srimad-Bhagavatam set, I am so happy and I can't resist. I have to buy another one. And this is another story connected with the alcohol. One time we felt like going into strange places, so we decided to stop in these places where usually devotees don't go, like, you know, on the road, in the mountains. Sometimes there are some bars or restaurants, out of the way, in secluded places. So we went, and we went in this bar, and it was like more like a cave, It was the ceiling was very low, and it was full of smoke, almost no light inside. And so we went in, and we couldn't even see properly, and the perfume that the people wear, it was very strange. I mean, there was a very bad smell inside, very, very bad. And there were maybe 10 people, and so we started to distribute books, and we had Srimad-Bhagavatam, second canto, third canto, all these spare Srimad-Bhagavatam books. So we approached this first one. We were in two devotees, me and my good friend Guru Krishna Prabhu. So quite a few people took the book, but every time that we proposed the book, there was one guy in the corner that was mumbling, was always complaining for something, Why you came here? You are disturbing our... He was drunk like anything. You are disturbing, Wow, who are you anyway? You are not from here, like that, He was disturbing the atmosphere. So we distribute to the first one. Everybody took the book. And he was the last one. And then I had the fifth canto, second part. So I said, I didn't distribute this one to your friends because this is for you. And he looked, is it for me? And what is it? You know why I gave you this special book? Because this is talking about hell. And everybody, yeah, bravo! Yeah. Yes, that's a book for him. Amazingly, he took the book. I don't know how much he gave because it was so dark, but anyway. So, you never know, sometimes, you have to also do like this. Haribol.
Would Shivatma Prabhu like to say something? Or?
Ja, die Bücher von Prabhupada verfolgen uns einfach. Wir werden sie nicht los. Das ist so meine Verwirklichung.
The books of Srila Prabhupada, they are following us. They are chasing us.
Als meine Buchverteilung anfing, also nicht anfing, ich habe die Bücher von Prabhupada nur konsumiert, gelesen und bei mir in die Regale gestapelt.
There were book distributors giving me books and I just piled up the books into my shelf.
Das fing 1973, 74 an.
It started 1973, 74.
Da kamen die devotees massenweise in die Großstädte rein und haben in dieser Zeit Weihnachtsmarathon, Bücher verteilt.
And the devotees were seen everywhere during the Christmas time.
Und jeder, der Devotees begegnet ist, der konnte nicht anders als diese Bücher kaufen.
And nobody could escape the devotees but buy those books.
Wir hatten nachher so viele Bücher in der BG gekauft von den Devotees, dass wir damit die ganzen Wände tapezieren konnten.
And we were living in one, was heißt Wohngemeinschaft? Shared flat. We lived together and everyone could, everybody had so many books in their shelves.
So meine Verwirklichung damals da war ich so 18, 19 Jahre alt, war, ich gehe eigentlich nicht auf die Bücher zu und kaufe diese Bücher, weil ich interessiert bin und sie lesen möchte, sondern die Bücher laufen hinter mir her.
And I had a realization already when I was 18 or 19 that I am not looking for those books. No, those books are looking for me.
Sie zwingen sich den Menschen richtig auf.
They are forcing themselves to the people.
Sie haben einfach keine Chance, Nein zu sagen.
People have no chance to say no.
Obwohl wir sie ursprünglich gar nicht wollten, sind sie doch in unseren Häusern.
Although it wasn't our plan to have them, suddenly they are all in our homes.
Und natürlich lesen wir diese Bücher auch, wenn wir die Zeit haben, die notwendige Zeit.
And when there was time, we also started actually reading those books.
Ich bin ein Vielleser gewesen, das fing schon bei mir mit 8 Jahren an.
I was a person who reads a lot of books. It started already when I was 8 years old.
Diese Bücher, alle Bücher sind für mich heilig. Ich kann kein einziges Buch wegwerfen.
For me, books in general are something sacred. I can't throw away books.
Sie haben mein ganzes Leben und mein Intellekt geprägt.
And they have an impact on my intellect.
Aber Srila Prabhupads Bücher sind was ganz Besonderes.
But Srila Prabhupada are way more special to me.
Durch diese Bücher habe ich mein Selbst, meine spirituelle Seele erkannt.
And through those books I could realize my real self.
Obwohl ich kein Heiliger werden wollte. Ich wollte nicht mal ein Devotee sein.
Although I don't had the plan to become a holy man or a devotee.
Werden wir doch von Srila Prabhupada und seinen Büchern dazu angeraten und angehalten, zu studieren und zu lesen und uns selber mit unserem eigenen spirituellen Selbst zu beschäftigen.
But nevertheless, the books, Srila Prabhupada's books, they forced and inspired us to work on our spiritual personality.
Und Srila Prabhupada lässt nicht los. Er verlangt alles von uns ab, so dass wir zurück nach Hause zu Krishna gehen.
And these books they are a big challenge.
So, das bedeutet,
at the end we can go back home, back to Godhead.
Das bedeutet für mich eigentlich Sankirtan. Sankirtan ist nicht, dass wir die Bücher verteilen.
Sankirtan for me doesn't mean that we are distributing those books.
Sondern dass wir nur ein Medium sind.
But we are rather a medium.
Von Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna.
By Lord Chaitanya.
Und seinen großen Geweihten, wie Srila Prabhupada. Er benutzt uns, damit wir die Bücher für Krishna verteilen können.
These great personalities, they use us so that we can distribute those books.
Und das geht so weit, dass wir wirklich anfangen, ihn gerne als Freund zu haben, mit ihm eine Beziehung aufbauen wollen, mit ihm tanzen, singen, chanten wollen. Das ist dieser Einfluss. Krishna hat es versprochen im Kali-Yuga, 10.000 Jahre lang, in jedem Dorf, in jeder Stadt, jede Generation. Wir haben jetzt, glaube ich, die 4. oder 5. Generation, wenn ich falsch liege. Korrigiert mich bitte.
So, wow. So, and these books are inspiring us to go to Krishna Loka and play with the bird boys and with Krishna and was war mit dem Kali Yuga?
Oh, vergessen.
And something about
genau, von Generation zu Generation. Und das ist das große Wunder. Jetzt müssen wir mal die andere Seite auch nochmal festlegen. Die Buchverteilung ist in den deutschsprachigen Bereichen total zusammengebrochen nach dem Downfall von Harikesh.
And this is a big miracle after when Harikesha Swami left his position in the German Yatra.
Die Devotees haben große Leistungen vollbracht, die damals in dieser Zeit die Bücher verteilt haben.
At that time, in that period, the devotees, they could achieve tremendous results.
Aber von einem Moment auf den anderen ist das ganze System zusammengebrochen.
But from one moment to the other, the whole system collapsed.
Und trotzdem hat Krishna es geschafft, ich sage Krishna hat es geschafft, mit ein paar Devotees dieses System aufrechtzuerhalten und wieder neu aufzustellen.
But still, by Krishna's arrangement, a few devotees, they could again develop this country, and now book distribution is again taking place.
Und das ist das, was Lord Chaitanya uns versprochen hat, 10.000 Jahre lang im Kali-Yuga. Von Generation zu Generation werden die Bücher von Krishna weitergereicht.
That is the plan of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for the next 10,000 years, and one generation after another is engaging in this book distribution mission.
So, wir sind es nicht, die kontrollieren oder die schaffen oder leisten, sondern Krishna ist es, der es tut und macht und uns inspiriert, seine Jünger oder seine Devotees holt und sagt so, ihr geht jetzt in den Sankirtan und verteilt diese Bücher.
We are actually not those who take control, but Krishna inspires.
Bücher in seiner Zeit, Ort, Zeit und Umstände gemäß für Krishna Bewusstsein und Srila Prabhupada zu verteilen.
So that is the very interesting thing. Every one of us has to find his or her own way. We are one and simultaneously different from Krishna, and we are individual persons.
Und in Deutschland merke ich eine große Bewusstseinsveränderung bei allen Generationen. Keiner bleibt stehen jetzt in seiner Entwicklung. Er muss sich neu aufstellen.
And I can feel that in Germany all generations, they are now more or less forced to move forward. Nobody can remain there as where he is or she is right now.
Und wir Devotees, alle, die wir ausgebildet und geschult sind, können eine beratende Stellung einnehmen für diese Generation jetzt.
And we all can have the position of a spiritual advisor or coach for all these people.
Und dann können die Devotees, die jungen, neuen Devotees da rausgehen mit ihrer Art von Sozialität, mit ihrer Art von Institution und Konstruktion, die aus der Institution entsteht, können sie den Menschen ihrer Generation dieses Wissen weiterreichen.
And then the new generations of Sankirtan devotees, they can help these people so that they can find out how they can fit into this Sankirtan movement.
Das heißt, dass wir aber auch von unseren Erfahrungen, Verwirklichungen, in denen wir gerade drin stecken, loslassen.
But that also means that we also have to take a step back from our own sometimes narrow-minded experiences.
Wenn wir das schaffen und nur noch Berater sind, ohne ein Ergebnis zu erwarten, dann können wir in diesem Leben noch erfahren, was hier alles noch ablaufen wird. Und das wird gewaltig viel sein.
If we can become an advisor, but without attachment to our own results and then we can become witness of very miracle things in the near future.
Weil es gibt viele Möglichkeiten, die Bücher zu verteilen, viele individuelle Möglichkeiten.
There are many individual, different ways of book distribution.
Weil wir eben eins und verschieden sind, wie Krishna auch.
Because we are one and simultaneously
Wir müssen herausfinden, wer sind wir wirklich, was ist unsere persönliche Mut, wie verteilen wir diese Bücher.
We have to tax our brains, how
Zeit und Orte und Zeit und
how we can distribute more books, time, place and circumstances.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, then I would, if you don't mind, like to tell a story, if possible. I was the most unusual place I distributed books was in Hong Kong, in Taiwan. That was some years ago. Hong Kong was impossible. Basically, you go on the street and people just, there's not even, I don't know, Prabhu, have you been to Hong Kong distributing books? They just they don't acknowledge that you exist. You're just, excuse me, how's it going? Excuse me. No, just walking by. You are like a pole. There's no difference, you know. So I was thinking, how do I do this, you know? Because devotees at that time, the Hong Kong devotees, brahmacharis, they went office to office, but because I don't speak Cantonese, I couldn't really go office to office, and also, you know, I'm a foreigner, it looks weird, because they said they are monks, you know. So I went only to the shops, I went to the big supermarket, where they come out with a shopping cart. They're slow, you know, so therefore, and I stop it. And I stop in front of the cart and I say, excuse me, so they cannot really. So this was I figured out a little bit how to distribute there. But then I went to Taiwan, that was even worse. It's just impossible. And then one devotee from Hong Kong told me, you should dress in saffron. I was a brahmachari that time. You should dress saffron, and they give me the card. So we basically posed as Buddhist monks. So 6 hours a day, you just stand like this, No smile, of course. Buddhists don't smile. And I stand like this, and I say, Omi tofu. Not tofu, tofu. This is some Buddhist saying greeting or something. And I did like this, and people stop, and I give them a card, and I just looked like this. And people, and on a card was written, I'm from the temple, please give donation to our temple. So they give me donation, and when they leave, I give them one book. 6 hours. Wow. So when we go back to our apartment, we're like, screaming, jump, kirtan. Because imagine 6 hours not allowed to smile, not allowed to say anything. You cannot say anything because you're a serious Buddhist monk. Jeez. But we did some books. And then we met some guys who were interested. So we invited them to our Sunday feast. The Sunday feast, we made, like this, recently this Prabhu made this paneer, paneer sabji with this big cheese and puris and halava. So these boys came and they looked at this and said, we cannot eat this. For them, this is too gross, this food, So they ate only rice. So next time we made it a little lighter, Chinese. We had a Chinese cook, so he was cooking Chinese. But anyways, this was an interesting exchange. As you said, everybody has to figure out their own way how to do. I know also in Japan, and I was not in Japan, but there was a time when this Gita Govinda Mataji, this old, she was doing, they try to do during the day, but nobody wants to stop. In Japan, not possible. So they go out at 10 o'clock in the evening, start book distribution. So distribute from 10 o'clock in the evening until 4 o'clock in the morning. They go to all these bars, all these drunk Japanese people. This is the only way you can distribute books. Anyways, devotees ki jai. So I thought maybe we are almost the time for prasadam. Maybe each devotee can say final words, or I don't know, whatever you like to say until, another. Another Prabhu.
Oh, my final words might be too long, maybe. I just thought when you mentioned this, I could take you on a tour through Germany alone. Because Sankirtan devotees, they are the perfect psychoanalysts. They are the perfect knowers of the country they distribute, because they are there with a touch with the conditioned souls. So I could alone just, I don't know today, I was not distributing in Germany for a long time, but in the old days, start in Hamburg, Hamburg is like distributing books to eels, eels? This is kind of... to catch them, not easy. And they're always like this, keine Spende. So it's like a snake farm. I never liked North Germany much, but when you progress to Hanover, it gets better. Then, and then Kassel. This is office people, This is everybody with a tie and just keine Zeit, So you have to be like, okay, the office is opening, we have only 5 minutes time, here's the book. People in Germany, I developed the mantra, keine Zeit, no time, no time. I said, well, no time, take the book. There's no time, you have no time, I have no time, take the book. You get into some kind of frenzy. We have to tune, Sankirtan devotees are expert to tune into the local conditioning and purify it. Oh yeah, and then you come to Mannheim, this is also like, when you go south, and then they are also just like, it's again like, then you come to Baden-Baden, that's like the Monte Carlo of Germany. Gambling's casino. Old ladies with a poodle, even the poodle dogs have a diamond earrings, could be. And they carry this. So we carried the books like this, like a waiter in a restaurant, Hello, madam. Yoga. And they go, oh, yoga, that's interesting. Yoga, you also practice yoga. Chakra, yoga, yeah. That's Baden-Baden. Then you come to Freiburg, that's usually the wine farmers and all this stuff. Simple place, gets more easy. And then you turn left to Germany, to Bavaria. Oh, that gets funny, Allgäu. And then things become more gross, People here, they have a neck like this, It's like distributing books on oxen, you know. You just go, hello, you know, a book. They have hands, the book disappears in it almost, you know, it's like showers. And they just go, I read only newspaper. And he said, well, then you can wrap the book in a newspaper, it's very nice. You know, and something like this. So it's just, they're really like, brr. When you come to Munich, oh, that was changed. It changed the worst. The BMW and, you know, drivers, you know, just, we are Munich, you know. It changed a little bit. And nectar spots where people, there is a place in Black Forest where only esoteric people live. It's amazing. Everybody, oh, Bhagavad Gita, I have one at home, yeah, sure. Black Forest was my special area, you know. I knew every village there and every corner, and very funny people. So Sankirtan devotees are actually the wonderful training you get there about real life, real people, real Krishna consciousness, real conditioning of these people. You develop a genuine compassion when you see in what kind of state this. With that, you can survive in the material world. Yeah, this is, you get so much benefits by trying to do this service. I mean, it's endless. The list, I once wrote a list, not what I did on Sankirtan, but what I got from Sankirtan. It was a long list. I can give you a whole seminar on this. How many benefits you get. It's changing people, you know. You know, it's not changing, it's just bringing out you, the real self. The rest of the time, according to the karma, we just play games. It's just like a theater. Karma will twist you this way, that way, and you go, the whole life is just like a puppet show. But on Sankirtan, you become yourself. The real self comes out. It's a beautiful experience. And I tell you, it makes you happy to be yourself. You don't have to lie, pretend, nothing. You are yourself. So this is the beautiful gifts you get out there when you just try to go on Sankirtan. Dedicate your life to this service. That was my final words.
Haribol. So next year we are waiting for that magical list.
Oh, that's a long thing. It's, you cannot imagine. We shouldn't even sit here. According to, this is not a karma here. We are not sitting here because of our karma. Not at all. Actually, many devotees, when I meet them, and I had devotees in a car, I was thinking, oh, I wouldn't like to meet this guy without Sankirtan, you know. Because I am coming from a generation of German devotees that the Tamil president told me, take this new bhakta out on Sankirtan and don't bring him back. Very peculiar people, you know. Sometimes I looked in a mirror in a car, I was going, you know, no bhakta program, nothing. Just take him out. So what could I do? He was out in a car. I gave my short introduction, you know, with two hands hanging down and just give him the smile. And this kind of things. I brought back, after 1 week, they asked me, what are you doing with these people out there? I said, nothing. I just help them to give out some book. I can give you numberless examples of that. You know, we had one called, I will not mention this name. He was a very nice, Krishna Kanamira, he was very nice. When he was joining, he was different. He was like, hello. I mean, he was like the shyness personified. He was going, well, how can he go out there in that battlefield? So they told me again, you know, just take him out. So I put him in a parking lot, nice, I knew where it is, Sindelfingen, anyway, it's just nice places. And I showed him, you know, and then it was a classical thing. He was like, hello. You know, just to give somebody a book was a big thing for him. The man was sitting the whole life at home with the mutti, you know. So, you know, so I just, hello. But I liked him, he was very nice. So I told him, good, just give him the book. Just push it a little bit. And then after half an hour he came running back. I distribute a book! And I yelled at him back, don't get puffed up, don't get puffed up. It was too late. He couldn't understand the process. So he was like, and then 2 hours he did nothing. And he was like, then he realized, don't get puffed up. That's a good lesson. Yeah, it's a good thing. In one day, you're already learning. You know, and then by Saturday, the same week, he defeated me. You know, my quota was at that time around 40, 50 books a day. I was just on that level. We had quotas. We were just pushing it. He did 60 books on Saturday. And I brought him to the temple, and devotees were like, they didn't expect me to bring him back, actually. And he came in a door, and he was going, go, Rongo! And everybody was like, what did you do with him? And I said, nothing. He just defeated me. He did, you know, he did more books on Saturday like me. He became a very beautiful Sankirtan devotee. So I saw many wonders like this happening. I saw people joining who couldn't even chant the holy name. Hare, I remember him. Hare. But he was very determined to have some bhakta like this in a temple. In the times where every German newspaper wrote that the sect will brainwash you or you become a victim, people came to the temple and there was a guy standing in a corner going, Hare. Well, people are going, it's all going to happen to everybody like this. So again, they told me, just get him in a car and get him out. By the weekend, he was chanting normally. He became pujari even here. I saw wonderful things happening by the mercy of Sankirtan.
Just a few words. Maybe you also have witnessed that people are staring at their phone for hours and hours. And I heard the average of a 14-year-old German teenager is 70 hours a week. 70 hours a week scrolling on there. So that is one thing. When you approach a person on the street, it becomes more and more a unique experience. Finally, a real person is talking to me. Eye-to-eye contact. When I had this the last time. And also there is now this artificial intelligence that you can fake Donald Trump saying something. You have to take these, you have to listen to the Krishna podcast. No? Anyway, so book distribution is one of the last bastions of real interaction, of human interaction, and we shouldn't underestimate this.
Wonderful point.
Jai.
Jai. Can you imagine? I was going in Germany on Sankirtan, there was no credit cards and no mobile phones and no internet practically. It was like you said, and now we have to fight for it. Hey, me, hello. And I remember devotees going out here, everybody, teenagers on the street, they all have these headphones, and they just go completely, gone. And I remember devotees distributing by going, and they're just plucking him out. And it was going, where's my headphones? They just plucked him out. They're going, hello, it's me talking to you. It's a wonderful point there. It's one of the last places you can be personal, actually.
And also the book itself, I don't know, it would be interesting to, what is your experience, but the book itself, out of paper, it becomes something let's say 15 years ago you were old school reading books. You are still reading books. I have my iPhone 15. I read on my phone everything. That was 15 years ago. But now, oh, you are reading a real book. Becomes again, it is a statement. I'm reading. When you sit in the train and you read a real book, you're making a statement of your personality. You had the same experience when
yes.
you.
In Germany, at least.
There was an advertisement, a new product. It doesn't need any batteries. You don't have to recharge it. With no manual, even your grandfather can operate it. You don't need any, artificial. You don't have to upload nothing. It's called the book.
Just a few words. I just feel really honored to be here, and please continue like this. You have a very young body, so take advantage of this and do a tremendous book distribution. This is your time, and don't be. I mean, you have to be fanatic, but not stupid. So, fanatic in the sense that maybe you can do it out of duty, and you know that it will become fun, although it will be difficult sometimes. But take care of your body and do exercise, and don't overdo. You just have to have a right balance so you can last longer and be less disturbed from your body. So thank you very much for your inspiration, and thank you again.
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Book distribution ki jai.